Okay, so in this video, we're going to look at finding the equation of a line if you have 2 points. So you might have a question like one of these, any of these examples, find the equation of the line joining any of these points. So we've got, for example, 2, 1, 6, 3, lots of other ones. So I'm going to choose a couple of these. We're going to go through them and then you can try some on your own. So if we take maybe the first example and you've got the 2 points, 2, 1 and 6, 3. So if we're asked to find the equation of the straight line that join these 2 points, the first thing you have to do is find the gradient. Now, the formula for the gradient, this is one you have to learn. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to use that in just a second, but first we have to actually label our 2 points. So there's always an x and y in each coordinate. So if we take this as point number 1, then this is going to be x1 and y1. And then if we take the next point as point number 2, then it's going to be x2 and y2. Now that we've labelled the points, we can put them into the formula for the gradient. So m equals, then we substitute in y2, we put 3 minus 1 on the top over 6 minus 2. Okay, so then we have the gradient equals 3 minus 1 is 2 over 6 minus 2, which is 4. 2 over 4, which we can simplify, the gradient is a half. So m equals a half. So that's step 1 when you're finding the equation of the line. Step 2 is actually substituting in for the equation. So I'm actually going to do it at the side here. So it is still the same one, but just so that we can see this first bit at the same time. So this is another equation that you should learn. You want to substitute into y minus b equals m brackets x minus a. So if you've got a list of formulae that you need to learn, then that is one of them. So y minus b equals mx minus a. Now you choose one of the points that we've got, either 2, 1 or 6, 3. I'd probably just choose whichever one looks friendliest. So either if there are negative numbers, you maybe want to choose ones that don't have negative numbers if it's a little bit easier to work with positive numbers. Either one is going to be fine here. So I'm just going to choose point number 1 and I'm going to label it A and B. And then we substitute into this equation over here. Y minus B, so y minus, and instead of B, I'm going to write 1. Y minus 1 equals, M is a half, so I'm going to put in a half, that's the gradient. A half, open the brackets, x minus, and instead of A, I'm going to write 2, because that's what I've labelled A over here. Okay, once we've done that, we're going to multiply out the brackets. So y minus 1 equals a half x, and then a half times negative 2, half times 2 is just 1, so minus 1. Right, then you tidy up so that you only have y on this side, and you bring this minus 1. You add 1 there to get it to 0, so you have to add 1 on the other side. We end up with y equals a half x, and actually this has cancelled each other out, minus 1 and plus 1. So y equals a half x is our solution. Okay, that's example number 1. Let's do another one. Very similar, I'm going to do 2 points, so this time let's choose one with some negative numbers. We've got negative 4, 2, and 4, negative 4. So we want to find the equation of the line that joins these 2 pairs of points. So first thing we're going to do is find the gradient. So the equation for the gradient, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So to be able to substitute into that equation, we actually need to label the points. So for point number 1, we've got x1, y1. And for point number 2, x2, y2. Now we can put those numbers into our formula for the gradient. So m equals y2 minus 4 minus 2 over 4, and this is where to be careful because it is 4 minus negative 4. Okay, let's tidy that up. So m equals negative 4 take away 2. We've got negative 6 on the top. And 4 minus negative 4. So if you take away a negative number, that's the same as plus. So we've got 4 plus 4, sorry, which is 8. So gradient is negative 6 over 8, which we can simplify to negative, divide them both by 2, 3 over 4. And that's our gradient. So that's step 1. Again, I'm going to do it at the side here so that we can see the whole thing. So to actually get the equation of the line, we need to use y minus b equals m brackets x minus a. Then we choose one of our points and we label it a and b. I'm just going to choose the first point, a and b. Okay, then we put that into our y minus b equals mx minus a. So y just stays the same. Y minus b, which got 2. So y minus b equals m, which is negative 3 over 4. X minus, and a is negative 4, so just be careful that you keep that in brackets. Negative 4, close the brackets. Okay, so just before we multiply at this bracket, I'm actually going to change this minus the negative 4 into the positive number. So y minus 2 equals negative 3 over 4 x plus 4. Then we're going to multiply out this bracket, so leave y minus 2 for now. Negative 3 over 4 times x, just negative 3 over 4x. Negative 3 over 4 times plus 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, times the 3, and it's the negative, so it's negative 3. You can do that at the side if it helps as well. If you want to do negative 3 over 4 times the 4, you could always do that at the side. Okay, last little bit, we want this y just to say y equals. So y equals, to get the y by itself, I've added 2. So if I add 2 there, I also add 2 on this side. So we've still got negative 3 over 4x. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. And that's your solution. That is the equation of the line. Right, I'm going to do one more example with you, and then you can maybe try some of them on your own. So final one I'm going to do, I am going to choose 1, negative 1, 2, and 5, negative 1. If you feel like you could try it on your own, you should maybe pause the video, try it on your own, and then check if your working matched mine. So first step, if we've been asked to find the equation of the line joining these points, we're going to start by finding the gradient again. So doing exactly the same, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So before we can substitute them in, we just have to label. So for point number 1, x1, y1. And for point number 2, we've got x2, y2. Okay, so for the gradient, let's substitute that in. So m equals negative 1, take away 2, over 5 minus negative 1. And let's tidy that up. Negative 1 minus 2, that's minus 3, over 5, take away a negative 1 is the same as 5 plus 1, so 6. And again, we can simplify that to m equals negative 1/2. All right, let's do the next section. So we write out y minus b equals m bracket x minus a. choose one of our points to label A and B. A, B, and then we'll put them in. So y minus 2 equals, and for the gradient we've got negative a half, open the brackets, x minus negative 1 for A. Then let's just fix that so we've got a plus so we don't get confused. Y minus 2 equals negative a half, open the brackets, x plus 1. Right, now we can multiply out this bracket. Y minus 2 equals negative a half x. Negative a half times 1 is just minus a half. And then last little bit, we just want this y to be by itself, so we're going to bring the 2 over there. So to get the 2 over there, we're going to add 2. And if we add 2 on that side, we have to add 2 on the other side. So we're just left with the y by itself on this side. Negative a half x, and then you've got negative a half plus 2. So that is plus 3 over 2. And if you're not great at doing fractions in your head, then you can put that to the side. That would be 2, take away a half, just 1 1/2, which we would put as 3 over 2. Okay, and that's you. So that is how you find the equation of the line when you have 2 points. So you maybe can try some of the examples now.